So today was Reek Sunday. And for anybody outside of Ireland who doesn't know what Reek Sunday is, it's the last Sunday of July on which we have one of the most important pilgrimages in Ireland, which is to climb Croagh Patrick, where supposedly, according to our tradition, St. Patrick spent 40 days and 40 nights. So it's a mountain below, at the bottom of Mayo, where I live, beside a town called Westport, between Westport and Lewisburg. And over the last number of years, they have improved the climbing experience. I've climbed it many times, both on Reek Sunday or just during the week or something like that. If you want to go for a walk, it's quite nice. And I have to call out something that I find fascinating. This is the largest youth pilgrimage in Ireland. When we're talking about how do we engage the young people, well, this happens to be the largest youth pilgrimage in Ireland. Always has been, really, that when I've seen it walking. But families with young children or young people with children, teenagers, guys in their 20s, 30s, but from obviously, because you have the strength, you have the youth, you have the ability to climb a mountain. And it's, if I remember correctly, about a 700-meter high mountain. But over the last 2 years, something interesting has happened in Ireland. I always remember going to Croagh Patrick and struggling to find car parks. I'd get up at 5 and I arrive at 6, and then you'd be parking in a field, and if the weather wasn't great, there would be a traffic jam trying to get up to Croagh Patrick, as and people car parking in different car parks. And then last year, what I decided to do was I would go up the night before, park in the main car park, sleep there, and then get up early and climb Croagh Patrick. I said that cuts out getting up in the morning and parking and all this. And then last year I said, well, where did all the people go? The car parks where's all the traffic? What happened? And then I found out, it's All Ireland Sunday. They've changed the All Ireland Sunday, and now the All Ireland is on Reek Sunday. Because, and so people have to make a decision. Do I go to Croagh Patrick? Do I stay home and watch the match, or go up to the match? Well, sport, God, sport, religion. We all know what people have chosen to do. I didn't see too many Donegal jerseys up the Reek today, or Kerry jerseys for that matter. But I suppose when it comes to choosing between one of the oldest pilgrimages that we have in Ireland and choosing between going to Croagh Patrick in Dublin, well, choices are choices, and that's life. I can't make people decide. So there was a noticeable downturn last year, a little bit higher this year, but definitely there was lots of free car parking spaces in the main car park, the one that I stayed in, which is the one that's always open when you go up Croagh Patrick. It's sad that the GA association can't respect that one pilgrimage weekend, but then again, I suppose we're throwing God out in Ireland, and that's just the way things are going. Our new gods are money, employment, and sport. These are what engage people. But and that's just the reality of life. That's just the way things are. But still, it does attract a large number of youth. It just does every year, which is fantastic to see. But there is nothing there for the youth. They're really, if you're doing this pilgrimage as a church, we do very little outreach during this pilgrimages. Like some Legion of Mary, some groups do stuff. The Protestants are out in force. The Protestants have. When we came down today, we had this bag. They were giving this bag out to everybody. The Gospel Van Ministries, giving this, which is great, and giving out literature about the Bible, etc., etc. And they've been doing this for many years. And again, fair play to them. Nobody asked you to do this, and it is one of the main Catholic pilgrimages. You're kind of, I suppose you might reach some stray Catholics on the pilgrimage, but there's nothing there. There's no outreach from an Irish church level. Even at Mass, there wasn't even a homily. So people are going on pilgrimages. There's no harm in giving a 5-10 minute homily at each Mass, considering that we've halved the number of Masses. It used to be a Mass every half hour. Now it's a Mass every hour. I think 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1 and 2. So 6 Masses, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and there are a few priests there to hear confessions. But guys, we could do so much more. At the very bottom of Croagh Patrick, there's a kind of it used to be a cafe centre, gift shop centre, right at the foot of Croagh Patrick that has been empty for a while. Excellent place maybe for the church to have a pastoral outreach centre, But look, as I said, it's interesting to see. We're scratching our head. How do we engage young people? And when thousands of young people, which do turn up to Croagh Patrick every year, we have nothing to offer them, or very, very little to offer them, as in way of outreach, of catechesis, or I don't know. They're there. God has sent them, but we don't have anything to give them. I think it's sad. Another thing that I've noticed over the years is less and less priests or clergy do the pilgrimage. There was a time that you would have a steady stream going up and down, but quite noticeably. But thankfully, I saw 4 young Dominicans going up, and their new deacon, Father Bruno Mary, who's just been ordained, going up barefoot. Fair dues to him. He really does they really do give witness to the faith, and it's great to see. But again, guys, I think it's just a wake-up call to the church. It's time to see what can we do as outreach. I mean, it's interesting in the sense that Croagh Patrick is one of the main pilgrimage sites on Ireland, along with Lough Derg and Knock. So you have 3 large pilgrimage sites in Ireland, and Croagh Patrick, unlike Lough Derg, which has its pilgrimage season and then off, it's used for retreats and stuff like that. Croagh Patrick gets far greater number of visitors every year, and yet being the largest pilgrimage site in Ireland, one of the largest pilgrimage site, the second after Knock, really. We have nothing as far as regards Catholic outreach at the base of that mountain. There is nothing there. There is no pastoral centre. There is no pastoral outreach. There are no priests. There's no faith community. There's nothing to receive pilgrims to go to Croagh Patrick, which is interesting. I think we've missed a beat as a church. And even when you go up to the summit of Croagh Patrick, I went up there a month ago. There's a beautiful little church up there, but it's generally not open. There's nothing there as far as and it's not like it's a marvel of architectural marvels inside. But I found it very sad when we had Mass there that it's leaking. It's old, it's dilapidated, it's kind of there's water all over the floor. I mean, we could do a little bit more with that second largest pilgrimage site in Ireland as an Irish church. I mean, thousands of people are going there. And then we're scratching our head. How do we engage people? People are engaged. It's just the problem is the Irish church isn't engaged. we're off doing this process and we're spending money on that. You know, the amount of, as people have told me, the amount of money the Irish Church spends on different things, on different projects that produce no fruit. You know, and where we have thousands of people climbing the second largest pilgrimage site in Ireland, we have nothing to offer them. You know, for example, at the base of Kirkpatrick, to have a confession centre, confession chapel, for anybody that's, even to have just one priest there to offer confessions at the base of Kirkpatrick, you would reach many people. And you know, the buildings are there. There's 2 buildings for sale, as far as I'm aware, right at the base of Kirkpatrick, right as you walk beside the car park. So look, just I'm not trying to be negative here. I'm not trying to be, because it's very easy to point out faults and not be positive. I'm just saying, look, hopefully somebody in the church might call out the GAA on their All Ireland fixture day. Does it have to be Reek Sunday? You know, I thought that does it have to be Reek Sunday? Could it not be the next Sunday or the previous Sunday? You know, and you know, that's my thoughts on it. But again, you know, it's a beautiful pilgrimage site. I've gone up there many times, but we are failing to engage the thousands of people that go up there. You know, and it's a beautiful place. Anyway, just my thoughts on it. God bless you. Take care. Bye bye.